praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash, Tawada, Amen. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders of GMS, Elder Gabar, Elder Rakah, Elder Rhymelab, and Elder Tahar. And double honors to all the camps that are on the highways and byways that are preaching the word in the name of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash, Tawada. All praise and glory to the Father and the Son. Okay, today I want to talk about who is the great whore that sits upon many waters. Yeah, the great whore that sits upon many waters. Yeah, so we're going to start with Revelations chapter 17, and then we'll go on to some other scriptures, yeah, as we're going through this for the day. So let's start with Revelation 17. As you know me, I've got to have the good book out with me, because I'm going to bring out quite a few precepts when we do this today, yeah? So, who is the whore? Who is the great whore? So, in Revelations chapter 17, verse 1, just so that you can try and get an understanding of this, it says, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters," right? "With whom the kings of the earth," so with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. All right? So, who is the great whore that sits upon many waters? Now, you know, we can go up and down through these scriptures. Where are we now? In verse 2, right? So it says, "With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have made to drink drunk of," right? So if we go to Revelations 18, that will tell you who the kings of the earth are. So we're going to go to Revelation 18. Here it is, verse 3. It says, "For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." Right? So, who is this place that the kings of the earth have committed fornication with, which means, you know what fornication means? It means to lie down with someone. But in this sense, it's a metaphor, which means in terms of when you're lying down with them, you're doing business with them. This is what this means. This means the kings are doing business with each other. They're lying down with each other, and they're doing business with each other. They're sleeping in the same bed. So it says the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and her merchants, so the merchants of these kings of the earth, are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So who could this be talking about? Yeah. So we go back to Revelation 17, and it says, "And there came one of the seven angels, yeah, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication." So, where is this place? Let's have a look. This place, the great whore that sits upon many waters, is the United States of America. Now, a lot of people forget that part of the United States of America is Alaska. Alaska sits off of Canada, yeah? This is the whole continent of America, yeah? From South America to North America to Canada. This is all one continent. This is why that's why they would call this the Americas, okay? Now, this place that waxes rich in wealth, that all the kings of the earth, so all of the leaders, which represents your prime ministers, your presidents, your whatever titles you're giving yourself. In Germany, they call them the chancellor, the head. You know, some states have got royalties as their head. Some have presidents, some have prime ministers, and so forth. Those are the kings of the earth. Yeah. So it says, we're going to go back to Revelation. So it says, "With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication." So it doesn't mean that they're having sex with this place. It means doing business. It's a metaphor. That's what you understand, yeah? And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. The wine of her fornication are her philosophies. So we know the United States of America philosophies are pushed across the four corners of the world. Everyone has got to accept democracy according to United States standard, yeah? And that standard derives off of a two-party system, yeah? So in England, we call it Labour and Conservative. In America, they call it Democrats and Republicans. In Jamaica, they call it PNP and Labourite, yeah? So I'm just giving you an idea. You know, you go to Germany, you've got the, I think they call them the Christian Democratic Party, the CMD, and then you've got the I think the other one's called the ADF. Nearly every country has this two-party system, except those countries which are ruled by royal families where they don't have no thing called democracy, where there is no voting, like somewhere like Saudi Arabia, where there's no voting involved. It's just the royal family just rules and that's it, basically, yeah? So this country, the United States of America, is the place. It says, come hither and I will show you the judgment of the great whore that sits upon many waters. So who is the great whore? Who is the great whore that sits upon many waters? The United States of America. Why? One, because all the countries of the world commit fornication with it. They all do business with it, or they all want to do business with it. I think there's only probably 5 countries that don't do business with America that has sanctions. Iran, Cuba, North Korea, Syria. I can't think of the other one. Yeah. So if I was to say, just say US sanctions. US sanctions. Let's have a quick look. List probably might give it to us. 1 second. Okay, look at that. It came straight up. Iran, North Korea, Ukraine, and Russia has related sanctions. Yeah, Cuba, Syria. Yeah, so I had it right. It's probably just Ukraine and Russia that I missed out. All right. So let's go back to scripture. So it says, "And I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sits upon many waters." The United States of America sits upon many waters. Yeah, that's what you must understand. To the east coast, you have the Atlantic Ocean. Down in the southeast, you've got the Gulf of Mexico Sea. To the west coast, you've got the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. Here is Alaska. It's the upper state of America. This is the United States of America. Just don't forget that this is part of Babylon. This is Babylon the Great. This is the same country. Yeah. USA, USA. Yeah. So here you got the Gulf of Alaska. Up here they call it the. Well, it is actually, it's the Arctic Ocean. It sits on the Arctic Ocean because you remember Russia, from this side of Russia, you're straight, Alaska is the next stop. So here brings you all the way to here. Remember, Alaska can see Russia from where they are, and Russia can see Alaska from where they are. I'm talking like a citizen could stand on the edge. If they lived on the edge of Alaska with binoculars, they could see Russia. Vice versa. Yeah. So Alaska sits on the Arctic Ocean. So these are the many waters that this place sits on. This place, the Great Whore, yeah, the Great Whore, it's describing a place that sits on many waters, is the United States of America. Because you've got the Pacific Ocean to the west, the Atlantic Ocean to the east, down in the southeast, you've got the Gulf of Mexico, and up here it would be the Arctic Sea and the Gulf of Alaska. Yeah, but these are the main waters. The main waters would be the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean. Yeah, those are the main. And then down here you've got the South Atlantic Ocean and the South Pacific Ocean, and then the Indian Ocean. Yeah, see there, the Pacific Ocean, same place. Yeah, so it sits on the 3 main oceans: the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic. I don't think any other country could say that. It sits on all three of those main oceans, the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic Ocean. Yeah. So this is how we know it's talking about America. This is one of the telltale signs. This is one you can take of this. Okay, this place definitely sits on many waters, the United States of America. All right. So then we go to ourselves, say, okay, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So they become drunk with her philosophies, of her ways of life. This is why all of these countries now, all of these places that America have invaded or America trade with, literally abide by the same democracy rules of the United States of America. Their countries have now become full, not totally full, but in a sense been taken over by the American corporations. Yeah, they now start to run all the major businesses. They take control of all the resources. They did that in Africa. They did that all throughout South America. Yeah, they did that. Where are we now? In the Middle East, here, all throughout the Middle East, where the main resource of oil is, basically in that. They did that all throughout. The Europeans have did that all throughout the world, but America, because remember they are Europeans, these are the places that they have did it all throughout. They've taken control of all these places, but every country deals with America, yeah, except those you saw on the sanction list. Iran, North Korea, Russia still deals with America, but has sanctions, has related sanctions, Cuba and Syria. So you can say these four countries don't do any trade with America: Iran, North Korea, Cuba and Syria. Every other country in the world does. Yeah. Why? Because it is this great place. This is the place that have committed. This is the place that made them drunk with the wine of their fornication. The wine of their fornication of their philosophies. So one of their main philosophies in the United States of America is homosexuality. This thing they push on all of the countries that they trade with, that they have to accept these things and they have to deal with these people as normal citizens and basically give them all the rights and rules and protections that they will give other citizens, and that they must accept seeing homosexuals walking around, holding hand in hand, kissing, and all of these things that you see in these Western countries. These are one of the major things that they push on these countries, yeah? That is part of the wine of their fornication and their philosophy. And also the wine of their fornication is all based on, we've said this many times before, white supremacy. This is why all of these countries, nations, their dreams are to become white, blonde hair, blue eye, like these Caucasians, like these Edomites. They want to be just like them. They want to be just like the same people who have put it on them that the only way they can survive in this world is by following the laws and the commandments and statutes that are coming from the United States of America. Yeah, which is the wine of her fornication. All right, so we go back to Revelation 18. It says, for all nations have drunk. So Revelation 18, chapter 18, verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, because they have. All these nations have taken on the American philosophy, even down to the way they're eating. This is why I say to you, if you want to know that America's taken over your country, just look for a McDonald's, Burger King, or a Kentucky. All of these that are beacons of American democracy, that shows that, yeah, we're here now, we're finally here. You start seeing all these things. So, you know, all of your local businesses or your local or your state companies in those countries that may have their own franchises will at some point be finally overrun by the American franchises of their fast food outfits and restaurants and so forth and that. So you see that start taking over your high streets. You know, you see your people start dressing like these Americans. You know, you'll see them also watching everything to do with America and watching lessons to their own countries. So they become to drinking all of the wine of the fornication of that country, because they put all that on them. They push all that on them. All right. So it says here, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Absolutely. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, because all the leaders of these countries that are doing business with America, except those ones that are on the sanction list, right, have committed fornication with her, meaning they're doing business with the United States of America. And like I said, it's the only country in the world that every country wants to do business with. It's the US, yeah? And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So the merchants of the earth, so all of these foreign businesses that are doing business in America, they all get rich from America. And that's all managed in a place called Wall Street, yeah? Because Wall Street controls literally the whole global business industry. Is controlled through Wall Street and through the main stock markets in Wall Street, which are the Nasdaq, the Dow Jones and the S&P 500, just so you understand, all right? So, go back to Revelation 17. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-coloured beast, full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. That woman represents the United States of America. That woman is that great whore. That great whore that sits on the 7 waters is the United States of America. So it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of all the abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Because America is full of abominations and filthiness to do with all of her fornications. So whether it's her acts of war, corruption, what she did during slavery, her pushing of homosexuality and the LGBTQ program, yeah, genocide she committed against North American Indians, yeah, her crimes that she's committed outside of the United States of America. So you think of all of the juntas revolutions that they set in South America that put in all of these right-wing, racist, Spanish, and well, they literally made them, most of them, all Spanish except for Brazil, leaders to take control. So these are proper right-wing European descendants that they put in control to push forward the American program in South America, until we had that massive incident in 1995 where it all came to light to do with, it was called the Iran-Contra arms deal, where they was buying arms, I think, from Iran and bringing them to South America to arm the revolutionary groups that the American government wanted to put in power, because these people would be in line with the America's government's policies. Yeah, so the current leaders that was in those countries and current presidents or prime ministers that run those countries weren't in line with the American government policy. So through their juntas, they set up all of these revolutionary groups and flooded all those South American countries with guns and so forth, and set up revolutions to take over the legitimately voted in governments in those countries, so that the people that they put in power would be in line with all of the American policies. So you want to know why there's a caravan of South Americans on their way to the United States of America, right, running away from violence and death in their own countries and gang violence, is because their countries were flooded by guns by the United States of America. Right, that's what they did. They flooded their countries with guns. So now they're in those dire states. And this is why you see those people trying to get out of that and go to America. And like I say, if they think coming to America is going to resolve their problem, my gosh, it's going to be even worse. They just don't know it until they get there. All right, so it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colour and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. That woman is the United States of America, represents the United States of America, yeah? Sitting on a scarlet coloured beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads, if we go up a verse, and 10 horns represents, the 7 heads represents the 7 different powers that came into power. So you had, let me read them out for you. You had the Greeks, 7 different empires: the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, the Spanish Empire, Germania Minor, Germania Major, the French Empire, and then you had the British Empire, which then became the American Empire, basically. Yeah, because remember, Britain gave birth to America. Yeah, so those are the 7 beasts. When it says here, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Those are the 7 heads. Yeah, the 10 horns represent the European or NATO, the European Union. Yeah, that's what they became. Those 7 heads became the 10 horns. Yeah, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colour and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. All right. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, right? So who is Mystery Babylon the Great? The mother of harlots, yeah, which is the mother of whores and abominations of the earth. That is the United States of America. Because in the United States of America, you can be anything, do anything. You can be transgender, triple gender, homosexual, lesbian, gay, right? It doesn't matter what it is. You can worship any religion. You can start up a brand new religion, like Scientology, like you saw with Tom Cruise, all those nutters that follow that Scientology, which is like been around for about the last 20, 25 years. Yeah, you can worship anything in America. You can do anything in America. America is this place, is this place that is the mother of harlots and the abomination of the earth, is the United States of America, for everything it represents and for everything that it is done. All right? And it says, and I saw a woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. When I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Yeah? So, who are the saints? The saints are the Israelites. The saints are these people. The blood, when it says I saw a woman drunken with the blood, that woman is the United States of America. Yeah? If I could just quickly, 1 second. What was I looking for? 1 second. I've lost my train of thought there. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Slavery. This is the blood that she was filled with. That woman is the United States of America. Yeah, that is that great whore. Yeah. So the blood that he's seen in her mouth. Scared. Just so you can see, man, these devils here and what they did here. Sorry. This is the blood that they're seeing. These people here. And these people here. So when you go back to Revelation 17, it says here, it says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood. The woman is the United States of America. That woman is that same mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth. Yeah. And I saw the woman with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Right? So the blood that he said, the blood of the martyrs, these are the martyrs here. All those that went into slavery. These are your martyrs here. All of those that went into slavery. These are your martyrs here. Right here. These are your martyrs here. The Native American Indians that they murdered and they massacred. Yeah? These are your martyrs. These are the bloods of the saints. This is what they saw. Right? These are the bloods of the martyrs that you're looking at here. And all those that descend from them. Alright? So, where are we? 17. So, hold on a minute. So, if we go to 13 and 1. 1 second, people. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I just want to show you something great. And we are in verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colour and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of the abomination and filthiness of her fornication. And like we said, that woman is the United States of America. Yeah? And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. The United States of America represents that woman and the great whore. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Yeah? And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. Right? So, let's go to Habakkuk 2. Okay. So, and the angel said, wherefore didst thou marvel? So we just read that, sorry. So verse 8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Yeah? That beast represents Europe. Europe is the bottomless pit because it has no resources. It's a dead rock. And that's where the beast rose up from. Yeah? So, Europe. This is where the beast rose up from. what we know as Europe. Let's kind of go back a bit. That one as let's do this one here. Yeah. And when we talk in Europe, we are talking Western Europe. Yeah. Because I mean even Eastern Europe, because this is all Europe. Ukraine is not really Europe. Ukraine is part of Russia. Yeah, Belarus is part of Russia. Lithuania is part of Russia. That was USSR. Latvia, Estonia, Eastern Europe, all of Europe would come really to like where Poland is, Romania, Hungary. That's what you kind of would consider Europe, because that's where the beast rose up from. Yeah. So if we go back to verse 8, the beast that thou sawest was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit is Europe, because this is the beast represents the reincarnation of the Roman Empire, right? And go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, right? Whose names were not written in the book of life, right? Because those are the ones that are going to receive this judgment on this earth, whose names are not written in the book of life. From the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Yeah, that's who that beast is. So if we're just going to go to where are we? Go to, let's quickly grab one here. Sorry. So if we go to Jeremiah 49:12, I think I want. Jeremiah 49:12. For thus says Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. Right? So those whose judgment was not to drink of the cup, these people here, those people here, and all the descendants from them, whoa, have surely drunk it. And art thou he that shall together go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. All right? So this great whore shall not go unpunished. This woman shall not go unpunished. She shall certainly drink of the same cup that she gave us to drink out of. Yeah. So it says, and here is in the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, which represent 7 governments. Yeah. The mountains represent 7 governments on which the woman sitteth. Yeah. And there are the 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. All right. And the beast, where are we in verse 10, right? Okay. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And to understand that, you have to go through Daniel 7. And we're not going to go through Daniel 7 today, but you would have to go through Daniel 7. Because just to break down that one verse, you need to go to Daniel 7. And Daniel 7 talks about that. Yeah? It talks about the 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another, which represented the 4 different empires. The Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, the Greek Empire, the Persian, Greek, the Roman Empire, what was the other one? Persian and the Medes, the Greek, the Romans, Daniel 7. Hold on, people. So we're not going to go into that, but I'm just going to explain to you that's where you need to go to understand that verse. And that can be done on another day. Where are we? Behold the beast, second came like a bear, a leopard, was the Greeks, Alexander the Great. The first was a lion, Persian and the Medes. That's it, the Babylonians. Sorry, how could I forget that? That's who the other ones was. So the Persian and the Medes, the Babylonians first, then the Persian and the Medes, then the Greeks, then the Romans. That's what the 4 beasts represents here when it says in the four beasts. But like I said, for you to understand that, Revelations, where was we? Chapter 17, verse 10, verse 11, you need to go to Daniel, and verse 12, you need to go to Daniel chapter 7, basically, yeah? Which we're not going to go through today. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. Yeah? So that now, the beast there now represents who? NATO, the European Union. Yeah? So when it says there, and the beast that was and is not, even is he is the 8th and is of the 7th. Yeah? That is talking about the United States of America. He is the 8th, but he is of the 7th. The 7th represents what? The British Empire. So out of the British Empire, you've got to remember, the War of Independence in America was to do with removing the British rule, King George III's rule, from the United States of America. They now wanted to sustain from British rule. That's what that was about. That was independence was about. Then after that came the Civil War. So when it says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, because that's the reincarnation of the Roman Empire, and is of the 7th. Why is it of the 7th? Because the 7th beast represented the British Empire, and out of the British Empire came the United States of America. Remember, the war was the red coats against the blue coats. The red coats was the British Empire, which was the superpower at the time, and the blue coats was the Union fighting to get them out. That's who the 7th beast was. Yeah? So when it says, and there were 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, right? And the other is not yet come, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Like I said, you know, we'd be going through that represents basically, I will give you a quick synopsis on that, yeah? Verse 10 represents the Babylonian Empire, Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, yeah? 5 are fallen and one is yet to come. And then you had the Byzantine Empire and one is yet to come. Your British Empire, which was the 7th, and out of the 7th came the 8th, which was what we know today as America, the American Empire, American imperialism, because the American Empire runs the world. Today we're living under the American Empire. Prior to that, it was the British Empire, were the superpowers of the world. Yeah, so that's what that represents, just so that you understand that. But to go deep into that, we'd have to go through Daniel's chapter 7, which we're not going to do today, just so you understand. Yeah, but if you're a brother there and you're into the truth already, and you know, and you've gone through Daniel chapter 7, you'll understand what it is we're talking about here. And then for those that haven't, I have a video on my website that goes through the whole of Daniel chapter 7 that you can go through and review to get an understanding of Daniel chapter 7. Yeah, and when it talks about the 5 that are fallen, and the one that is yet to come, and one that cometh, and he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. That's the United States of America. And is of the 7th, because he comes out of Britain. Because Britain gave birth to, remember, Britons were the ones that first went to the Americas to colonize it, and then they were fighting against the French, and they defeated the French in America. And then they had a few skirmishes against the Spanish, and they defeated the Spanish. And then they set up their colonies in the east coast of America. But also the French had a colony, I think the French had Florida, right down south, had those colonies, had a couple states under their rulership, basically. Yeah, but Britain was a superpower at the time, and had, because they had the Royal Navy, right? And he is the 8th and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. Yeah, which means goeth. Remember, the word perdition means to destruction. And the 10 horns which thou sawest, the 10 horns represents the European Union, NATO. Yeah. Are 10 kings which have received not kingdoms as yet, but received power as the king 1 hour with the beast. Right? These have one mind and shall give their power strength unto the beast. Because I said the beast today is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire, which represents, the beast represents NATO. NATO is a representation of the European Union, and the head of NATO is who? The United States of America. Yeah, they're the head of NATO. They have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. All right, because that one mind is the European Union. So all the countries that have come together, and remember, that's why they call the European Union, because now they have one mind. They have the head of the European Union, they have like the commissioner, they have a finance officer. So everything goes through the European Union. When they're doing deals and trades with other countries, that trade is not based on one individual country in the European Union. It's based on all of the countries, and the trade that they will make will be based on the European Union. It won't be just based on what Germany want, or what France want, or what Holland want or what Spain wants or Portugal. It's based on what all of they want collected together, because they all have what? They have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, which they have. How have they done that? Through NATO. Because the United States is the head of NATO, right? The beast is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire, yeah? The Esau system is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. So all they that have one mind, the European Union, have give their power and strength unto the beast, yeah? So if we go to, okay, that's fine. These shall make war with the Lamb. So this great whore, the United States of America, and the European Union shall make war with the Lamb. Who is the Lamb? Yahushua. Who's Yahushua coming? He's coming with the 144,000, the guardian, the angels, the 144,000 and the angels, and he's coming to gather the elect of Israel from the four corners of the world, right? Four corners of the earth, to wage war against the beast and the beast's allies, which is NATO, the European Union, and their allies. These shall make war with the Lamb. The Lamb is Yahushua, and the Lamb shall overcome them, because the Lord is going to overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. What did I say? Those that are with him are called. So those are going to be the 144,000 and chosen. Those are the elect of Israel, and faithful would be all the angels. He's coming with his own army, and together he's elect, right? And he says unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, right? Listen carefully, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, right? So they said, the water where thou sawest, right? So let's read this out again, right? Just so you understand. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Come on, come back, you. Ooh, hold on a minute. Sorry, people. See what that gave me there. 1, 2, 3. All right, that's not bad. All right. So it says here. So we're in Revelations chapter 17, right? I'm going to read it straight from the scripture, right? Verse 15. And he says unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, right? Remember the waters? The waters that we talked about already was the Pacific, the Gulf of Mexico, the Atlantic Ocean, and up here is the Arctic Ocean, right? These are the waters that where the woman sits, right? Which is the beast. Let's put it down here for a minute, right? Which is the beast, right? So you can see, right? So it says, verse 15, and he says unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples, right? Listen carefully, and multitudes and nations and tongues. So is America not a place full of people, as we know, right? Different multitudes, nations, different nations, fill up this country, and tongues. The United States of America is probably the biggest immigrant mixed multitude of nations and tongues in the whole world, anywhere else in the world. I don't think there is a country in the world that has probably every single nation that's on this planet lives in that country, in the United States of America. It is the place with the biggest mixture of nations, tongues, color, peoples. It is the United States. There is no place like it. England is not like that. England's a multicultural society, but most of the people that come in England are either come from India or Pakistan or Bangladesh, yeah? Some got China here, from the West Indies, Japan. Only recently we've had people coming from like South America that have been coming here to United Kingdom. But England is not like America. America has them all. Russians are there, Chinese are there, Japanese are there. And I'm talking in their massive communities, yeah? The West Indians are there, all right? So whether they're from Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Antigua, they're there. South Americans are there, whether they're from Chile, Brazil, Argentina, Peru, Panama, Venezuela, they're all up in America, all right? Where's the other place I'm trying to think of now? So you've got with China, Japan, we said, Russia, we've said. Europeans are all up in that place. All of those white people in America are Europeans. They are from Sweden, Denmark, Hungary, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Great Britain, Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, the Netherlands, Belgium. Literally every nation on this planet lives in the United States of America. And I'm talking as a community, not just the 1 and 2 stragglers. We're talking communities of them spread out across the Americas. So this is another telltale sign, so you know who the great whore is that sits on many waters, right? It says, and he says unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, so those are the waters which thou sawest. So these are the waters which John the Revelator would have been seeing, right? The Atlantic Ocean, Gulf of Mexico, Pacific Ocean, the Arctic Ocean, yeah? And remember that John the Revelator is in what we call the Mediterranean. He's in jail. He's on the island of Patmos, which is an island of Cyprus, in jail, yeah? In the Mediterranean jail. Never been to the Americas. Don't know nothing about the Americas at that time, yeah? We'd only have heard stories of going back to King Solomon's and his days of their journeys, but still wouldn't know anything about the Americas and what it would look like and so forth and that. So he's in his prison cell, getting this vision of this place that's sitting on many waters. And when he sees it, he sees, gosh, all these different nations that are living in this place, that speak in all different tongues, from all different countries and all different colours, right? All over the continent. And he's thinking, man, this is a place of many waters. Yeah, this is where the whole cities of cities are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, right? It's the United States of America. This is what John the Revelator saw, sitting on the many waters that you see there, just so you understand, all right? So, where are we now? So, we're in verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Right, so the 10 horns, where are we? 17. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, they shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right, so who are the 10 horns? Who did we say the 10 horns were? The European Union. Right, the European Union, as we know it, is going to fall out with the United States, and it's going to cause them to go to war against the United States, yeah, with their fellow European Union allies. Yeah, it's going to cause them to go to war with the United States. Yeah, so it says on the 10 horns. So during World War III, when World War III kicks off, the allies will all be on the same side. Don't get me wrong. When it starts, they'll be on the same side. But something's going to cause the European Union to break away from the US and take the side of the Russians and the Chinese against America. And this all could happen through the trade war, where America will go to war against Russia, and then by the time the European Union gets involved, instead of them taking the sides of NATO, their fellow NATO allies, America and co, they take the sides of Russia and China and all the other ones that are not part of NATO. Because it quite clearly says there, for the Most High, and the 10 horns, which are the European Union, the 10 horns represent the European Union, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. So, for all the love and that you see it happening already, you've seen Trump start all these trade wars with the European Union, right? And also with what he would consider his natural allies, Russia and China. Yeah, you've seen Trump pull out of the Iran nuclear deal. That is, and told anyone that trades with Iran, today is the 5th of November. This is when the actual sanctions kick in. And it says all those that trade with Iran that are not on the exception list, because they created a list to exempt 8 countries. And I think those countries were China, Russia, India. I don't know the full list. But what I do know is that the European Union are not on that exemption list. But the European Union said they don't care whether the list or not. They're still going to deal with Iran and buy the oil of Iran regardless of what America says. So they're falling out a long time. This is just another thing on the list of things that they're falling out about. The European Union and America. Even though America's the head of NATO and the European Union are part of NATO, they've been falling out from the beginning, from when Trump put in those tariffs for steel and aluminium, right, for cars that are coming back and forth. To now he's pulled out the Iran deal. He pulled out of the EPA, the clean air stuff. I forget what they call it for the clean air that the countries are meant to produce a certain amount of CO2s. He pulled out of that deal as well. They're moving more and more apart. Yeah. So unless you see what's going on in the news and you can understand scripture, right? And this is why we're here to break it down. This is why we say we are the watchmen, we are the prophets. We are here to bring you the prophecies of the scriptures before they happen. Because this is just another prophecy that's still to take place. This is going to happen. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, which is the European Union, they shall hate the whore. The whore is the United States of America, and shall make her desolate, which meaning that they're going to go to war against America. How are they going to make her desolate? There's only one way you can make a country desolate in this day and age, is through a nuclear bomb. Because look at what happened in Raqqa in Iraq. They carpet bombed that place, right? Raqqa. But the people have still gone back there to rebuild it. They carpet bombed it for over a year. They blew up every single building and house in Raqqa. The bomb was destroyed. It's either been totally destroyed or partly destroyed. But the people are still going back there to rebuild it. So carpet bombing and dropping normal conventional bombs and missiles doesn't make a place uninhabitable. What makes a place uninhabitable is a nuclear bomb, because of the radiation and the biological and chemical fallout that comes from it, yeah, and the destruction. So this is what it says there. It says, and they shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So the Europeans ain't coming over there to and eat her flesh like some cannibals. They're going to be sending missiles. Nuclear missiles are going to be going up to do this for you. This is what's going to eat her flesh. So if we went to, I'll quickly show you, where are we? That's the European Union. Yeah, come on. So we quickly just show you, this is what's going to eat her flesh. All right. I need you to see this so you can understand this. Because this is who that great whore that sits on many waters is the United States of America. That place rich. Come on, you taking so long today, YouTube. All right. This is what's gonna. Oh, go back, my friend. It's here. This is exactly what you see here. This is what's gonna make her desolate. So we're going to read that again. Revelations chapter 17, yeah, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, right? Because the beast that they was writing was a reincarnation of the Roman Empire, which is represented the United States of America and NATO. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. This is what's going to eat the flesh. It's going to make the flesh. This is what's going to make the flesh melt. This is what you see here. It's going to make the flesh melt. All right? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, which is the United States of America, and shall make her desolate. Right? Use that word desolate. Means uninhabitable. And naked. Means bare. Nothing there. And shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. This is what's going to do it, people. It's a nuclear fallout. So I tell you again, if you people really, really believe, right, in your minds that these nations are spending hundreds, right, I'm talking tens of billions on nuclear arms weapons, that they're not going to use it. I say this, and I said this before, there's only one weapon of war that the nations have not used, and that is a nuclear bomb. Now if you say, oh no, what about Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Those were atom bombs, not nuclear bombs. A nuclear bomb is 1,000 times more powerful than those atom bombs that you saw the Americans drop on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And they call them Fat Boy or Fat Boy, what they call the bombs. They're 1,000 times more powerful, just so you understand that. So, for the Most High has put in their hearts, which means their minds, listen carefully, to fulfill his will. So, he's put in their minds, let's quickly get this, European Union. Oh, I've got to get these out, boys. Sorry, people. European Union. Members. Oops. Image. Come on, you. Come on. Alright, let's do it. You know what? Probably do that this way. Because I need you to see. It's always better if you can visually understand what's going to go on here. Alright? So, let's go to maybe a more recent one. That one, yeah. Is that a good one? So anyway, these are your European Union leaders, right? What you see here, these devils here, whoa, people represent the European Union, right? These are your European Union leaders, what you see here. Yeah, all of these devils here, these are the old time, these are the new ones, right? So this is what's going to happen. Just so you understand what's going on, people. For the Most High has put in their hearts, which means their minds, to fulfill his will. His will are the prophecies of these scriptures. And to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast. Right? So, which is what you see they do. America dictates what Europe does. How they go about trading with other nations. How they go about going into other wars when they're invading other countries. To steal their resources and so forth. Who gets what part of the deal and so forth. How they go about their laws. How they take on more American corporations, and then the banks obviously control those countries through those central banks. The bankers control them through the central banks. So, listen carefully. It says, for the Most High has put in their hearts, which means their minds, to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, which is the United States of America, which the beast, like I said, the beast is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. Yeah? And which represents NATO as well, right? Because NATO, the head of NATO is the United States of America. Yeah, to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled, right? So that's until the Most High is ready to turn them against each other. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Now, we started this by trying to identify who the woman is. Yeah, who is this woman? Who is this woman? I shall show you a judgment of the great whore that sits upon many waters. Who is this great whore? Who is this woman, this great whore that Revelation 17 talks about? Who is this woman that Revelation 9 talks about? For true and righteous are his judgments, for he has judged the great whore, which did corrupt, listen carefully, the earth with her fornication, and has avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. Right? So the servants were what we showed you before in slavery. So let's go back to Revelation 17 to the last verse. Yeah. So this is a final nail in the coffin for you to understand that that great whore, the woman that Revelation 17 is talking about, Revelation 9 is talking about, Babylon the Great, the place that is called Babylon the Great, the place that's good, full of abominations, and when we go back up to verse 5, the place that's, it says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great. That place that's Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, right? The mother of whores and the abomination of the earth. Who is this place? Who is this? So let's go back to the last nail in the coffin, right? And the woman which thou sawest is that great city. So that mother of harlots, the Mystery Babylon the Great, the abomination of the earth, the great whore that sits upon many waters. The woman, who is that woman that thou sawest, is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Now, what country on this planet reigns over every other country, which is the #1 country, and everyone has to follow his lead? So when that country says, I want to put sanctions against that country, and anyone trades that country will not be able to trade with me, has to follow my lead. What country has that power to do that without going through the United Nations that can just say and do what is want and gets everybody to fall in line and follow and agree and don't say nothing against them? What country? Who is this woman which thou sawest, right? So who is this woman that John the Revelator saw in his vision, right? This place. Who is this great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth? Well, there's only one place. Whoa. That could be the United States of America. Every single country, right? We'll go back one. Every single country in the world takes its orders from this place here. And if you, even Russia, Even Russia's trying its hardest to get out the sanctions that has been put on them by the United States. Because when the United States put the sanctions on Russia, everybody else followed. All of the European Union, Britain, countries in the Middle East. The only places that didn't follow him was China. Because China doesn't really follow what America says in terms of sanctions on certain countries and so forth. China does its own thing because China's the second biggest importer and exporter trader in the whole world. Yeah? So everybody else follows in line. Whether it's India, Kazakhstan, the whole of Europe, the whole continent of Africa, all of South America, Canada, everybody follows in line. This is the only country that if he says jump, everyone says, how high, sir? If Russia says jump, everyone wants to know why, this, that. If China says jump, people ask a question. If Britain says jump, say, who do you think you are? Your days have gone of the British Empire being in control. You've got no power. If the European Union says jump, no one asks, no one said to him how high. Everyone will say to him, so why do you want us to jump for? And where are we jump to? And why should we be jumping? But when the United States of America says jump, everybody in that rap record, jump, jump, jump. When they say jump, everybody jumps without question. The only question they say to America is, how high, sir? How high do you need me to jump, sir? Because they follow everything he says. So, the woman which thou sawest is that great city, the United States of America, which reigns over the kings of the earth, because they reign over everyone, and everyone wants to trade with them. Whether it's on their stock markets, with their companies, they control the banking systems, they control the financial banking systems, they control the trading systems. They got the biggest army, technically the biggest army or set of arms in the world, America. They're the biggest arms dealers in the world. It's the United States of America. So when you go to Revelation chapter 19 verse 2, it says, for true and righteous are his judgments, because that place is going to be totally destroyed. But right now we're just here to identify who the great whore is that sits on many waters. Yeah, Mystery Babylon. Yeah, the mother of harlots. Who is that person that Revelation 17 is speaking about from start to finish? For he has judged the great whore. The great whore is who? The United States of America. This is the great whore. This is the great whore. The United States of America. The great whore. Right? So, it says, this is it right here. The great whore. This is the great whore. Which did corrupt the earth with her fornication. Because she's corrupted the earth with all of her sayings and her doings and her philosophies and her pushing of her systems, whether it's her financial system, her trading systems, whether it's the pushing of homosexuality across the face of the earth and forcing it upon nations to accept that behavior, whether it's her philosophy to do with business, allowing American companies and corporations and banks to come in and take over your country's financial systems and your country's import-export systems, basically. So everything's based on the American economy. If it's not good for America, you can't deal with them. They don't care a shit about your country or what your country is trading or who's dying or starving and losing what. All they're concerned about is who they're feeding back in the United States of America. And when I say that, they're only concerned about their fellow Caucasians. They're not concerned about the people of color in America. They're only truly concerned about their fellow Caucasian Edomites that live in the United States. So their fellow American Europeans. That's who they're truly concerned about and uplifting this whole thing for. And all the wickedness that you see the United States of America does is all in support of white supremacy, so that they can always be on the top no matter where they are. It's as simple as that. So that great city that the whole world, which did corrupt the earth, right, with her fornication, has avenged the blood of his servants at her hand, because he has corrupted the whole world with her fornication. Yeah. So go back to Revelation 18 and 2, where it says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit. Yeah, because every kind of wickedness is going on in that place. And a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Absolutely. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So you've either received her wrath for her invasions, for her setting up these different paramilitary right-wing revolutionary groups to take down your legitimately elected governments in your countries all throughout South America, through its armies that were used to invade nearly every country, from Vietnam to the Middle East, whether it's Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, to North Korea, to the Korean War. They put their foot in everywhere. They even went and invaded a little West Indian island called Grenada back in the 80s. So, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Absolutely. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So through her stock markets, they have waxed rich through the trading of these countries and through the illegitimate trading of these countries that they're doing with other countries, in the sense that they're taking over those countries' businesses. They're taking over their country's financial banking system, so that the riches that are developed in those countries, that are made in those foreign countries, all go back to the United States of America. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye may not be partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues. Right? Because her plagues are going to be the destruction. For her sins have reached up to heaven, and the Most High has remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. So her judgment that she's going to get is going to be double. That whore, that great whore that sits on many waters. In the cup which she has filled, fill to her double. How much she has glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she says in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. That's how they see themselves. They're a proud nation. Yeah, the United States of America. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh who judges her. How is she going to be utterly burnt with fire? This is what's going to destroy the United States of America. Exactly what you're seeing here. We're going to finish on this anyway. So this is what's going to be utterly destroyed with fire. How much she has glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she says in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. That's what she says in her heart, right? I'm a queen, I'm no widow, and see no sorrow, right? But this is what the scripture says. So Revelation chapter 18 verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahweh who judges her. Are you telling me it's not going to be a new? Because I tell you before, conventional weapons do not burn people with fire. They break your limbs apart. All right? You'd have to use something like napalm to do something like that. Short of that, it's nuclear bombs. All right? So, a couple more verses. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahweh who judges her. All right? And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her. So all these different leaders around the world, all these different people that have got rich of her, even after they've dropped their bombs on her, they're going to be saying, my gosh, man, it's done. They're going to be waiting, they're going to be crying, because they're going to realize that there's no more can they make this corruptible, deceitful money, right, through murder, pillage, rape, right, of people's countries and nations and kindreds. You know, no more can they do that. Why? Because the judgment would have come. Yahweh would be here with the 144,000, with the angels and the elect of Israel, the 1/3 elect, to bring that judgment to Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America, and her allies. Because these European nations, Britain and the nations across the continent of Africa, they're not going to escape their judgment. They're all going to receive their judgment, from China to Japan to Europe to the continent of Africa. They're all going to receive their judgment, because and to the Middle East, because they all took part in the destruction of the children of Israel. Yeah, the Israelites. So it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So they're going to see this from a distance, people. When it says they should see the smoke of her burning, how's that going to happen? Think about that carefully. So it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, right? So Revelation chapter 18 verse 9, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Because you're going to see these mushroom clouds from hundreds of miles away. And remember, the whole thing's going to be filmed. Satellite's going to be out there filming the destruction of the United States of America. It's like that song says, the revolution shall be filmed. I think he sings. I may be paraphrasing it wrong. Anyway, and verse 10, standing afar off for fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So it's going to take 1 hour, right, to destroy the United States of America totally, all right? And the only thing that can destroy a continent as big as the United States of America in 1 hour and to make it totally desolate, people, please, it can only be an ICBM, Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, which we know as, aka also known as a nuclear weapon, a nuclear bomb. This is what's going to make it desolate in 1 hour. It's as simple as that. So we're going to read that one more time for you people. All right, Revelations chapter 18. We're going to finish on this one. Chapter 18, verse 10. We start at verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So, people, on that note, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rakah, Kodash, Tawada, Amen. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. So the great whore that sits on many waters is who? Undoubtedly is the United States of America. Yeah? Shalom, brothers. Shalom.